Good afternoon, my movie loving brothers and sisters. Thanks for joining us on this Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. If you're here, we appreciate you being here. We know there's a lot going on today. But thank you for joining us on the Screen Talk Live YouTube channel, where we talk about all things movies, movie news, and other screen-related news. I'm actually joined today by a co-host and friend of mine here with me on Black Friday, Shane Wallace. Shane, how you doing today, buddy?
Hey, doing well. Happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, if you're new around here, a couple things off the top. We are giving away an Xbox Series S on the channel. There's a video up for that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But just to give you a little rundown, if you send a super chat during today's live show or during any live show that we have, it enters you in a chance to win that Xbox. Shane has the tickets over there, ready to go, ready to put somebody's name down for a chance to win that Xbox. So make sure you're sending in those super chats for your chance to win that Xbox. Also, if you're new around here, don't forget, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can have your movie news when you need it, where you need it. We like to do things around here with a few main topics, go over those things, and it's going to be kind of a light, casual show today since, again, this is the day after Thanksgiving, and we're more just hanging out today.
Turkey belly.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so, and once we're done with those main topics, we like to take any comments, questions, or super chats that you guys have left for us down below. So make sure you guys are leaving those there, and then make sure you guys are sticking around to the end of the show to see those guys get answered. With that being said, we are going to jump into quickly I want to just, again, say happy Thanksgiving to everybody and happy Black Friday. But yes, we're going to jump into our main topics today. And our first main topic, again, just light and casual, I just want to talk about favorite holiday movies, right? It is the holidays now. We all just had Thanksgiving, and we're really going to start to get into that Christmas vibe and feels all in our feels here soon. Which is exciting, and it leads us, just like it did in October for us, right, Shane? It leads us down this path of kind of Christmassy type movies and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. For me, I always like to start off with The Night Before. It seems to be my new Christmas go-to movie. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen The Night Before, it has Seth Rogen, Anthony Mackie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and on and on and on. It stars the three of them, and it is great. Like I said, I like it so much that now for 4 or 5 years, it's been my go-to to like start Christmas off. And I usually actually watch it again, like to finish my Christmas feeling. But Shane, what's one for you that you know, like
just one? Do you want to go through a couple?
No, we're gonna.
Oh, okay.
But what's the one that sticks out that you're like, oh, there's no way that Christmas goes by without me watching this?
The first one that comes from, that I always put on, and it's my Thanksgiving movie. I always start with a Thanksgiving movie to get me into the mood. Mm-hmm. So most people know It's a Wonderful Life, mm-hmm. and I love that movie, and we'll watch that Christmas night. Frank Capra, who directed that, is one of my very favorite directors, top 15 of all time. I love him. And one of my all-time favorite movies is It Happened One Night. And every Thanksgiving morning, we wake up at like 6 in the morning before we have to make food or anything. And my wife and I, we always watch It Happened One Night. And just fall in love all over again. It's an early romantic comedy, but it's got those Frank Capra feels. Sure. And, you know, there's a lot of his films. He's got 2 Christmas movies, Meet John Doe and It's a Wonderful Life, but all his movies have that spirit, especially always the underdog, the average person, so everyone relates to it. So, yeah, first thing that puts me in that holiday spirit, It Happened One Night.
For sure. Okay, and then I want to talk about most nostalgic from childhood. Okay. So for me, this one's a kind of an easy one, and in fact, me and my wife were just talking about it the other day. You know, about we have a daughter who's getting old enough to watch movies and enjoy them and stuff, and we were talking about what was our childhood Christmas movie that we would want to show her first. Mm-hmm. And for me, and we actually both had the same thing. Ironically, and for me, that was definitely what I watched the most as a kid during Christmas time, which was Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. Mm-hmm. And we talk about all the time about going to New York on Christmas, and we will eventually. One of these years, we're going to go to New York on Christmas, and obviously that all comes from that movie, right? We even to this day, you know, he goes to Rockefeller
Plaza there with the ice cream
and the big ass giant like 200-foot tree they have there, and like all of that. It's
nothing like the movie. What's not in the movie is the crowds.
Sure. I understand, but you know, it's a very unique Christmas experience, and I know everyone is probably more of a Home Alone fan, but like, given the choice, if I could never see one of those movies again, I would never see Home Alone again, and I would take Home Alone 2. That's how much I love it. But yeah, so and my wife, again, she had the same thing. Hers was also Home Alone 2. What about you, Shane?
Without a doubt, my longest Christmas tradition, every Christmas Eve, I watch Temple of Doom. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It all started when I grew up. We had HBO. Maybe that's why I became a big lover of films. And it seemed like for like 2 or 3 years, we always went to this Christmas party for like my entire life until I moved away for college. And it seemed like 2 or 3 years in a row, Temple of Doom was on. And I would always wait for my family. I couldn't wait to go to this Christmas party. It was at my best friend's house, my dad's best friend, his house. So, they were close family friends. And it always seemed like when I was waiting, Temple of Doom came on. And one year I checked the listings and Temple of Doom wasn't on. So I told my mom, okay, I got to go to Blockbuster.
Right,
you have to rent Temple of Doom. I got to see this.
Right.
So she drops me off because it's my best friend's place, and she goes to Blockbuster because she's the sweetest mom in the world, and gets Temple of Doom. Well, she comes back and she hands me the cassette tape, and the box says Last Crusade. And I'm just like, well, I do love this movie. It'll do, exactly. But that tradition died. Right. And so I go home, and it's kind of a bittersweet night.
Right, yeah, for sure.
So, when I pop the case open, all right, let's watch Last Crusade. And I pop the case open, and inside, Temple of Doom. I kid you not. And so from that day forth, I was like 9, 10 years old, maybe even younger. I've never missed Temple of Doom on Christmas Eve.
That's a good one. Yeah, and then something that we talked about next, me and my wife, was what about Christmas animated movie that we would want, that was nostalgic to us, that we would want to show our daughter. And then for me, this became kind of difficult, actually. So here's what I remember. I never had a lot of big family Christmas stuff except when I was really young. So from 1 to like 7, those years we would go out of town, and like it was like a family reunion. Like everyone was living in one house, and there was us kids were everywhere, and we had this one big section in the living room, and there was a tube TV in there with a VCR, and there was 4 tapes. And those 4 tapes were our Christmas as kids for, like 3 days. And we would watch those 4 things over and over again. And that was the 3 Star Wars movies, the original trilogy. And then the last one was A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Like the Jack Skellington thing. I always hated that. They would
so
put that
good
on, and I would be like, oh, please put Skywalker back on. Like, put Luke back on the screen. I don't want to see this. So I wasn't a big fan of that movie, but I do think it was a big part of my childhood. But I did see a movie when I was like 10. I think it was 2002. So I was 10 years old, and it has stuck with me now, and I watch it every year as well. And it is my favorite Christmas animated movie, and that is 8 Crazy Nights by Adam Sandler. And I know it's not really a Christmas movie.
It's a holiday, winter holiday. That works.
It's more of like a Hanukkah or whatever.
Hanukkah.
But God, I love that movie. There's so many things I love about it, and it was in the height of loving Adam Sandler for me.
A lot of great cameos in there too.
Yeah, right. And a lot of great cameos by Adam Sandler. right.
Very true.
Tons of very good Adam Sandler cameos. My favorite. Have you seen it? You've seen it?
Oh yeah.
My favorite character is the old man, right? The ref.
Oh, okay.
That remembers him as a kid that was good at basketball, and so he wants to try to help him, which is also Adam Sandler, right? Yeah. I really, really enjoy that movie. I remember probably like The second time I had watched it, it was the year after it came out. I was watching it again because my mom had actually bought it for me. And I remember laughing one of the hardest times I ever laughed in my life. And this is when I think it really stuck with me that how much I love this movie. And Adam Sandler's character is, going through a lot. And the town is it's a small town. And they all know who he is. And they've all kind of turned on him. And he's like the outcast now. So it's Christmas night, and the whole town's gathered in this one building, celebrating together. And he decides he's going to take the bus to leave town because, you know what? I'm done. I'm not doing this. And so they're driving. They get like just a little bit, and the bus breaks down and pulls over the side of the road. And Adam Sandler's character's like, what the hell is going on? And the bus driver gets out. He comes back in with a thumbtack, and he goes, "Wouldn't you know it? One thumbtack popped all 10 tires." And I don't know why, but as a kid, dude, oh my God, I almost died. I laughed so much at that line. So yeah, for me, my favorite animated holiday Christmas movie, I got to go with Eight Crazy Nights. What about you?
It's so funny that you mentioned seeing it as a kid because one of my first jobs was working at the movie theater, and I remember when that movie came out. When I was a projectionist at the movie theater. My favorite animated movie, without a doubt, and it's funny that you bring that up because Jesse's been weighing in on this, and all the movies he's brought up are all animated. He talks about the original Grinch, the Rudolph animated movies.
Well, aren't those
stop motion?
Yeah, okay,
yeah. Stop, which is what A Nightmare Before Christmas is. It's stop motion.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, that's right.
It's just so well done.
Right.
It's almost at Wallace and Gromit level, which I think is the greatest stop motion animation out there. In fact, they got some holiday films. So if you haven't seen those are worth checking out. But my favorite animated holiday Christmas movie, without a doubt, is Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh wow!
Not only is it nostalgic, but I mean it's everything that it should be. It's short too, so kids can sit down and love it, adults can still love it, but to me it's all about what the holidays are about, and it's Charlie Brown trying to discover the meaning of Christmas and discovering its love, family, and friends, and you can't get any better than that. And one of the sickening things is ever since Schultz died, Charles M. Schultz, he wasn't. Did you notice when you were really young growing up, there wasn't a lot of Charlie Brown and Snoopy, anything?
When I was young?
Oh, yeah, really young.
Oh, yeah, really young, yes.
Really. That's because he rarely licensed. It would have to be very, he'd have to...
Right, but as I got older, it became
once
quite
he passed
the opposite.
Away.
Yeah. Well, what year was that? Do you remember?
98, 99?
Yeah, right around then, Charlie Brown became Charlie Brown. Yeah.
And, the whole idea of Charlie Brown Christmas is anti-materialism.
Right.
Not saying that, materialism is bad, but during Christmas it is.
Yeah.
It should be about giving rather than getting. Yeah. And so then just after Schultz dies, to go around and see like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree on sale and every marketable type thing. And it's just like, oh, you're missing the point of that movie.
Right.
And it really hurt. But yeah, that's my go-to animated holiday.
For sure. Okay. So, again, I know for a lot of you guys, like I said, from when I was a kid, the Star Wars original trilogy was what you guys were probably forced to watch as kids too. So I know that's big for you guys. But the one last thing I want to talk about that was really big for me, nostalgic wise during Christmas, was as time evolved, Star Wars became gone. Like, it kind of didn't exist anymore, right? I mean, we didn't get the prequel until like 99, 98 or whatever. So, and while it was gone, there was a point where my family started watching something different on Christmas. And that was the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And it became kind of a very Christmas nostalgia thing to me. I don't know why, but we all would do the same thing. I was a lot older now, I was 14, 15, but I was more into it. I could understand it more, and we were all gathered around watching Lord of the Rings during Christmas time, which again it feels so normal, but it feels also so not right or something, right? But
well, we'll if there's point where my wife and I do watch Lord of the Rings, it is around Christmas time. You know, and I think there's a lot of the reasons, because not only does it have those feels.
It's the feeling. It's the main thing.
I also think it's, you know, we watch the extended editions too.
Sure, me too.
It's definitely a lot easier to sit down for 3.5 hours and not go anywhere when it's blistering cold outside and you don't want to go outside.
The holiday,
yeah, you want to stay in anyway. But you know, if it's June and it's beautiful outside, it's hard to watch a 3.5 hour movie. It's like, man, I kind of want to go do something else now.
Right, for sure.
So I think it fits the way. It also came out originally in the theaters Christmas time.
Yes,
you know, December 12th.
Right.
Dates around the second weekend of December, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and again, it just carries that feeling of what I would say Christmas makes you feel like. Lord of the Rings makes me feel
and
like.
I think it's also a family movie. And when people think of family movies, they think of, you know, younger audiences, you know, possibly Disney made.
But my uncle, who was 45 and 55, they were sitting there enjoying it more.
That's a real family movie. Is that it doesn't matter if you're 90 years old or 9 months.
Yeah, we're over here, you know, going crazy about the Battle of Two Towers, and they're looking over at us going, "You guys don't even know how good this is," and we didn't. But we were all enjoying. I mean, even my grandma, she was 70 years old, sitting there watching those damn movies. Like I said, so I just wanted to bring that up too, because I know that it kind of evolved into being a big thing for a lot of other families too. And then lastly, we just want to say, of course, Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. I think that's pretty obvious.
I think enough people,
we don't need to debate
I think you even agree with this. If enough people say something is something, it's that something, right?
Right, unless they're all idiots.
Unless it's a Die Hard, apparently. Die Hard, definitely a Christmas movie. We will watch that possibly Christmas Eve, the 23rd, something like that.
I usually like to kick my November off and ending my October with The Shining, because I kind of consider it a Christmassy movie. Yeah.
When we get our first like heavy snow, that's when we're like, let's do Shining.
Right, Yeah, if we get one of those, that's perfect for it. Yeah. I have a feeling there might not be any snow this year, but we'll see, hopefully. We guys, let us know what holiday movies did you watch. I know Jesse brought up in the chat the Rudolph, like you brought that up. Frosty the Snowman was another big one. I mean, obviously, we all grew up with those. Those were very big.
Even our parents grew up with those.
Right. Yeah, right. And those were very big for everyone. They were also on TV.
I think they were the first
broadcast
television
TV.
Christmas specials.
Right. Yeah.
Because,
and they were available to everyone.
Yeah.
You rich or poor, if you had a TV with an antenna, you could have tuned in to watch it. So I think.
Well, it's really cool how Christmas, you know, does that. It's one collective, and you know, movies like It's a Wonderful Life. You know, that did poorly in the box office theaters. It came out in 46, I think, bombed. Nobody cared, and then all of a sudden in the 60s, NBC starts playing it Christmas Eve every year, and then all of a sudden it's now a part of our culture. And so, you know, Christmas Eve TV definitely, you know, changed the world.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, and I think a lot of people are still looking for their own. I think it's an easy hit. It's kind of like whenever I think about if I was a musician, I'd do a Christmas song because it's guaranteed to play every
Christmas
year.
album.
Yeah, Christmas album, sure. Right? You know,
if I had the vocal chops, no doubt.
Right? You know, I hardly ever listen to Boyz II Men, but if it's Christmas time, I'm putting that album on.
A perfect example of what you're saying, the proof positive that you're factually correct is, do you know what the highest selling Christmas album of all time is?
Kenny G's Christmas album?
Michael Bublé's Christmas
album.
There
you go. I knew it was going to be one of those. Yeah, absolutely.
It came out like a few years ago.
Oh, wow. And it already did that well?
Come on. I mean, a few years ago, like 2012, 14 or whatever.
10 years ago.
Sure. Yeah. But still, like, it became the number one, like, a while ago. I mean, and when it did, it was like, what?
There you go.
But there it is. You get a guy with a really good vocal chops, and then you just want. I mean, I go back to, you know, and it doesn't even got to be a guy that can sing well. It could be a guy that sings, you know, uniquely, like, what's his name? Oh, Blue Eyes.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, Sinatra's a perfect example of his. I love his Christmas stuff.
He's a great singer.
Yeah, because you could listen to that dude sing the phone book.
Nat King Cole, you know, Dean Martin,
Doris
all
Day.
These great,
there's a bunch of
amazing great singers, and the only reason we still listen to them today a lot of time is Christmas. I mean,
even
Bing Crosby. I love Bing Crosby.
Even Mariah Carey, as great as she is, what plays every year is that All I Want for Christmas. Right?
There you go.
I mean, it's crazy. And yeah, we'll get in more when we talk on the holiday special about the nostalgic of Christmas. I do forget about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. When I became older and we stopped going to family stuff,
that was your movie.
Was our small, my dad, my mom, my brother, my uncle, and whoever else, came to our house. That's what we would watch was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Well, our big Christmas movie, our very favorite Christmas movie, and we save it for Christmas, and sometimes we watch it 2 or 3 times during the month. But it's without a doubt Scrooged.
Bill Murray. There's another one. There's so many classics.
Very favorite, so and we quote that movie all year round. It's ridiculous,
dude. I know. Just from talking to you about the Guardian special before we started the show, I could tell you're not as big of a fan of Christmas movies as you are of like Halloween movies, right?
No, I disagree.
Okay, if you feel that way, then
big
trust
holiday.
me when I say this.
No,
more than the Guardian special, watch Spirited.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I dug it.
Okay.
I'm not.
I do love Will Ferrell.
I'm not a musical person at all. But yes, first of all, haven't seen Will Ferrell this good in a long time.
What's funny is I was going to end up watching that movie anyway.
Right, me too, right? It reminded me of Jim Carrey being in Sonic again. You're just like, thank God, there he is. There's my boy. And that's how I felt about what we got. Hey, we got a little bit of Will Ferrell back. And then Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds. He's great as always.
Never miss.
And there's a play on that stuff where we thought Will Ferrell wouldn't be only one of the ghosts.
Well, he's like one of the main, it's like his plot.
Yes.
They're trying to save his life.
Yeah, but he becomes more than just the ghosts of Christmas Present and stuff. But yeah, and he plays a bigger role than I thought. It's their movie. And my wife and daughter watched it, and lots of times my daughter would get up and dance. She was singing.
That makes those movies a lot more fun.
Yeah, for sure. So it made me like that. It felt really Christmassy too, and like I said, I'm trying to get in that mood. It's so much easier, at least for me, to jump right into the Halloween thing. 3 days before it's October, I'm like, it's Halloween.
Actually, I was reading something that it's actually better mental health wise, just because Christmas you can't escape it, right? I mean, it's everywhere. So the quicker you embrace it, and the quicker you start putting up decorations or getting in the mood, actually, the more positive and happier you are through the month, because it can be a depressing month when you're not feeling it and it can't go away. So you might as well just lean into it early and start watching Spirited. Sounds like a perfect way to get it going.
For real, like I said, my review's up on the channel, and like I said, overall, I thought it was definitely like a romp.
Yeah,
and
it looked like it.
Yeah, but for what it was, and it did stuff that I liked, because I swear to God, we're like 20 minutes in, and I look at a music scene thing or whatever you want to call it, a musical performance part, and I look over at my wife and I'm like, okay, I'm telling you now, if they do another music thing in the next 15 minutes, I'm done with the movie. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to watch a whole thing with just
I want to see a man sing a song.
And about that time, something happens with Will Ferrell's character, and he's like, starts to, do the thing where he's about to start singing, and one of the other main characters is like, whoa, bro.
It's too soon.
Right?
That's pretty good.
It made me be like, okay, so they know. All right, cool.
It's your kind of musical.
Yeah, right. I liked it. Yeah, so go check it out for sure, especially, like I said, if you're into holiday movies and you watch anything because it's the holiday, definitely check it out. But with that down, guys, like I said, let us know in the comment section below, what's your guys' favorite movie? What did you guys watch a lot when you were kids? What's your favorite animated? I expect to hear a lot of different stuff. I know, like I said, that Nightmare Before Christmas is big for a lot of people and stuff. So, yeah, definitely let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Okay, with that down, we are going to move into our second main topic today. And our second main topic today is this. So, Shane, we seen this the other day. We were trying to get going, actually, in our internet.
Your whole power.
Yeah, that's right. The whole electricity went out. And we didn't get it on until later, so we didn't get to talk about it. But yeah, Amazon is planning on investing $1 billion worth of basically movie product of films to put out into theaters starting in 2023. And I want to go over to an article that I have pulled up here from Yahoo News. We're getting some breaking news right now with reporting coming out of Bloomberg that Amazon plans to invest more than $1 billion a year to produce movies for theaters. If confirmed, it would mark the biggest commitment to cinemas by an internet company to date. Now, the reports add the online retail giant plans to release 12 to 15 movies annually. And then, of course, as I was telling Shane, shares of AMC and Cinemark and Regal obviously skyrocketed just from this little bit amount of news. And now, me and Shane have been talking about this actually on the channel here recently in the past months or weeks or whatever about, how the theatrical experience is, not going away, right? But I was telling Shane that I had actually seen this guy who was talking about he's like his job is to like predict changes in markets and all that, and he was saying that if these streamers start to invest putting their films into theaters, then we'll see the theaters have the biggest.
And we were just talking about that. People like Amazon and Apple are the only ones that can afford to do it.
We were just talking about it, and then here we are. We see that Amazon they're committed to 12 to 15 movies per year. That's a ton, guys. I mean, don't forget they have a lot of big stuff. They got deep pockets. Nobody's got pockets that deep, so they're still able to make a Lord of the Rings movie or spend the money to get the rights to or whatever the hell they want to. There's also lots of popular content that they have right now that works for them, like The Boys and stuff. Maybe you do The Boys movie. I mean, who knows what they'll decide to do. But there was the movie I was telling you, The Samaritan with Sly, right? That was a perfect example of a movie that you probably thought, see what happens, I mean, we're in a world where people love that shit.
I didn't watch it. I watched the trailer. I don't know, dude.
Yeah,
it looks pretty corny.
It looks so cheesy, right? Yeah, for sure. It's not that bad.
Okay,
no way.
Because you keep telling me just try it. I know
it's not that cheesy.
Yeah,
it's not a good movie.
Sure, but you said I would enjoy it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, maybe I have a soft spot for Sly.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Because really he fits the character and the role so well.
I guess that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I know, right? But anyways, this is big news, guys. Like I said,
huge news.
This is huge for the box office, for the theaters, for my stocks that I have invested. This is big.
Go see more movies. Help Key out.
But yeah,
AMC only. Go to
and then another thing me and Shane were just talking about before the show started was the potential idea of Bob Iger talking about selling Disney to Apple. So we could have so much more going on in these next few years with just this is going to get the ball rolling. I think anybody else that wants to jump on board of this, we're going to start seeing it, because just weeks ago, Knives Out right now is in theaters, right? And that's a Netflix movie.
It just came out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Netflix really got the ball rolling with that. But then this is it. I mean, this is what we wanted from that. We wanted other companies to go, man, what are we doing? We're leaving a lot of money on the table here. Let's throw these things into theaters. And that way we can continue to get theaters and movies and all of those good things. So like I said, this is huge news. This is really cool, and I hope that we continue to see more of this. Like I said, again, Apple could do this next. Netflix could choose to do this. There's all of them. Any of them could choose to do this, and when they do, like I said, they're going to get the best value for their dollars for the products they have. That's for sure. So if you do have a good movie, or potentially, I mean, even when you don't got a good movie, because something again we just talked about before we started the show was about movies blowing their loads or their proverbial loads on opening weekends, right? So even if you got a shit movie, like take Rings of Power, let's say they cut that into a movie, and let's say after it's been out, we know it's like a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. Opening week is going to make $300 million because we're all going to go out hoping that we're going to see that right. But when you throw it up on Amazon Prime, you get nothing. You get no dollars back. So we seen that this was a potential for this to happen. I honestly didn't think it was going to be as quickly as this is happening, but hey, here we are. Shane, what are your thoughts on it, man?
Yeah, honestly, a couple things really stick out to me of how dedicated Amazon is for this. One thing is they're implementing this 2023.
Yep.
Well, that's a month away.
Yep.
January. So now, without a doubt, in 1 month, I can say, hey, Amazon's releasing at least 12 movies. That's one a month in theaters this year. Yep. That's huge. That's so quick, like you said. Another thing, too, is I know that $1 billion they're investing in the theatrical is huge, but I think what stands out to me that they're really going all in is that they just spent $9 billion recently to acquire MGM. Which is one of the, if not
premier studios.
If it's not them, then it's Paramount, are the two most premier legacy studios in Hollywood. So now they got this branding. So instead of Amazon Pictures present
MGM, you get the lion and shit, right? Yeah, and we all feel nostalgic.
So it really goes to show they're all in. Hey, we're bringing the prestige level to this. I'm not sold because what's the stream window going to be? What's the theatrical?
Yeah, right.
release?
We still don't have a lot of details on a lot of that stuff.
He and I, our 9 years apart can be, paramount sometimes when it's the little things. Because he was talking about how, the last movie he remembers that had a big theatrical, longevity was Avatar. And I was like, man, when I was growing up, that was every movie. I pulled up to him and showed it took over a year for Jurassic Park to come out on VHS. And that's what we had then. No DVD, it was just VHS. I think Laserdisc. I think you get to get it on Laserdisc too. But it came out June of 93, and you had to wait until November of 94 before you could own it and watch it at home. That's why people went out to see Jurassic Park, because we knew, hey, if I'm not seeing this, I'm going to be the last guy, and it's going to be 94, and I'm finally like, hey, I'm in Jurassic Park, and everyone's else like, well, we're in the Power Rangers. 2. Or whatever it is, the next thing. It made it a necessity to go see that big thing. And so, I'll be more sold when Amazon's like, okay, it's going to have a 9-month theatrical window. We will not stream this. It will not be available to stream. It's just like with Knives Out. 30 days, I can wait 30 days. Are you kidding me? I have no problem waiting.
I'm going to.
And especially with how much content there is, too. Right. I mean, when you watch...
I got the Spirited. It's up for free. Guardian special for free.
I might get to Knives Out next year.
Right.
So what do I care? 30 days.
Right.
So something else has to happen for me to really be sold on this is the resurgence of theaters. But I'm happy to see that this is definitely the first step.
Well, the other thing I want to say that it does for us that is important for us as fans, as film goers, movie lovers, is the marketing for these things have been terrible. We talk about it all the time. We'll jump on Netflix. Here's this fucking amazing Adam Sandler movie.
I just saw an Avatar 2 commercial yesterday.
Right.
I just saw one.
But we jump on. What was that? The name of that Adam Sandler movie?
8 Crazy Nights?
No, the Hoops movie.
Oh, Hustle.
Yeah. Right? We jump on Netflix, and here's this fucking Oscar-worthy movie
of the year.
I know nothing about. Here it is. Watch it now. That's annoying as a movie-going fan who wants to see good movies. I want to know they're coming. I want to see a trailer. I want to be excited for it or have some level of anticipation.
And so much comes out too. I just saw the trailer for the Jonah Hill documentary. We were just talking about that, about the mental health. Yeah. And so it's like, no, as soon as I turn it on, boom, there it is. Oh, what's this? I'll watch the trailer. Right. And so then a couple days later, I put it on Netflix and I'm scrolling through and I'm going through a lot of stuff. And there it pops up. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Right. And now it's pages away and I'm going to forget about it again because a million other things just came out.
Right, today.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. And so hopefully, at least with Amazon in their case, will definitely, if they're going to spend this money theatrically, then they have to spend money for marketing. So we'll see these movies marketed to us at least and know what's coming at least, where a lot of times, like I said, there'll be some really good movies that are just thrown at you and you didn't even know they were going to be there. And I think as a fan, it makes it harder to watch those movies, to be honest with you. Like, because it's part of us, it's ingrained in me to think that it must not be that good. Like,
if it went away real quick.
Well, and if I never heard of it. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if it's good, why wouldn't somebody be on top of mountains screaming, about how good it is if it was that good?
People we're just not there to. Right. There's just so much.
There's just so much content. That's part of the real problem. Yeah, but yeah, guys, let us know what you guys think about all this. Like I said, this is huge for the movie theaters. This is huge for us as movie fans who want to continue to have these big. Like I said, the big important part for all this is if you want to still see Avengers movie and $200 million movies, then we need movie theaters, because without them, they have no way to recoup the money back that they spend on a movie like that. So this is a good deal for us, like I said. So let us know down in the comment section below what your guys' thoughts are on this. Like I said, is it something that you think? Do you feel more like Shane? Do you think we're still not there? We still need more details, or need to hash out some of the back end stuff of it? But yeah, definitely let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Okay, with that down, we're going to move on to our next main topic today. And our next main topic today is this. Shane, I was just telling you about how just over the past few years, basically China has not allowed almost any of this type of movies that it was allowing to be played in their theaters. As you guys can see, the article I brought up here from Screen Rant says Avatar 2 will release in China, and then in commas is unlike any Marvel movie since 2019. And that's actually what I was just telling you, Shane, is that it's been since Endgame and all that, right? Ever since then, they haven't really allowed any of these movies to be, even Spider-Man No Way Home, which was this big, you brought back the original Spider-Man and then the second Spider-Man with the third Spider-Man and all in one film. You would think that was a movie that China would be interested in having, but they weren't. But they're interested in Avatar 2? Huh. Okay, so let's read a little bit of this. Avatar: The Way of Water now officially has a Chinese theatrical release. Recently, China has been increasing its censorship of American films, especially since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. This has led to many huge tentpoles, including every movie from the Marvel Cinematic Universe since 2019 not playing in the territory, which has taken a huge chunk out of their potential box office profits. Per Variety, it was announced recently that James Cameron's Avatar: The Way of Water, the long-delayed sequel to the 2009 smash hit Avatar, will be one of the few post-pandemic era American releases play in China. The film will open in that territory on December 16th, the same day it premieres in the U.S. and most other international territories. It will play in both standard theaters and IMAX, the latter of which formed a huge part of why the original was such a box office success, and obviously we know all of that. So, what I want to talk about is why this is kind of happening, and B, the effect that this is going to have on the movie-going industry going forward and the movies we love. So, why this is happening. First of all, why China is censoring more movies coming from America. Shane, you brought it up. Honestly, the true biggest reason is because China hasn't really made movies a lot until more recently, and they've gotten a lot better at making movies, and so they want more people to see the movies that they're making, right? I mean, that's one of the bigger reasons.
Yeah, sorta. I mean, you're absolutely right. Whenever China now is considered their Hollywood area is Shanghai, because I have to disagree with some of the greatest films of all time are Hong Kong, without a doubt. Sure. China has China has one of the greatest film legacies ever, and now no movies are made there. So
right.
That's
but China's. We're not going to get into
Beijing,
that. We're not going to get into the China is not Hong Kong, and that Hong Kong is not China.
But Hong Kong has some of the greatest cinema. I mean, you
don't got to tell me.
Yeah.
I mean,
they changed American cinema as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even some of the, wasn't Infernal Affairs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hong Kong?
That's, there you go. There's so lots
Absolutely.
of things. So I think that does play a little part of it. So they want more people to see their films, and they want money to go back to them, and to their environment and their people, and all that makes more sense. Also, like I told Shane, there was some debacle going on about, I remember like when Black Panther came out in China, they had on all the movie posters, they only had Black Panther on there, and he was in his Black Panther suit, and that's because we found out later that if they were to show that it was a black person,
they wouldn't watch it.
They wouldn't have went out and seen the movie. So I think there was a lot going on with that, and
I can see that.
Yeah, and so. Yeah, I think that they kind of took some heat for some stuff, and as China always does with these kind of things, they kind of were like, "Well, fuck it, we don't care. We'll do whatever."
And who knows what the outcome would have been? We don't know what the actual regular Chinese citizens, if they probably would have seen Black Panther.
Probably.
We just
if they're seeing all the rest of it, I mean, he was in the other movies. I mean,
it's just China going, no, we're not. Yeah, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And like
I want to make sure
and I want to, they use the word in the Screen Rant article, censorship, and man, I don't want to get into that at all. I mean, there's a whole lot to delve into there, but I will say that I know lots of people, Shane, as you probably do too, that would argue that even just that, what they did with the Black Panther posters was censorship.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I know lots of people that would also argue that that is not censorship, but like I said, that is not a debate I want to get into today. But I think as Americans specifically, where we are in our world with race and stuff, that seeing something like that really is impactful to us, because we know we couldn't accept that here. There would be riots, right?
Well, that's the thing as Americans, is that we don't understand how privileged we really are at times, that we can create change within our world, where within China their citizens can't.
Yeah,
and
even
they
though
just have to live with
30 times as many. Yeah, still can't.
Exactly. Right. And even though we have our problems that we see all the time, you can still see the successes that we have, or at least gaining towards as well. And so, it's just completely worlds apart,
Right, for sure. But yeah, and so I think, like I said, the other thing I want to talk about is how this will affect, theater, the movies that we love going forward. This is going to continuously have an effect, because these movies made like $500 million. Marvel movies made $400, $500, $600 million in China alone. I mean,
I think that China's going to open. From what I'm reading, this is an article on CNN, so I don't know if you saw this, but I didn't realize that China's box office results are kind of like ours, where every year it's getting worse and worse, even after the pandemic, where you think it'd get better and better, and China's getting worse and worse. So I can see them going like Avatar 2 has the potential to be one of the biggest money making.
Right.
Why are we not going to? Why are we going to say no to that money?
Well, I think specifically too because of the success of the first one too, right? That they're like,
well, and if we talk about race, not only are black people African American a race, but Caucasian people are a different race than what's in China. You got a bunch of blue people on the screen in Avatar. Yeah. So, if there is that, hopefully there's not. I don't know. I don't want to be judgmental.
Well, again, it did really well. The first one did really well.
There you go. See, so that's government propaganda on their end.
For sure. So, that's what they're looking at. They're looking at this going, well, shit, remember that first one almost did $1 billion here. We could use that right now for our theaters and shit. So that's a good point, too, to bring up. And I think that there's obviously some truth to that. And again, that just shows, again, that all of us are suffering in the theater industry. All the theater industries are taking a hit from all of these things. But yeah, Shane, what are your thoughts on Avatar 2 being released in China?
It's obviously, if it's good for their industry, it's good for all movies. I just, I'm sure James Cameron's
static.
Oh yeah,
Marvel,
right?
It's because my movies are real movies,
yeah. And also it has that potential now to be that $2 billion.
Yeah,
movie.
Now it does.
And he's just was talking about
you were saying $2 billion to break even. $2
billion. Is he counting number 3? Weren't they recording those concurrently?
I bet because they did. They shot them both, so I bet they are counting that. But
so yeah. So yeah, I'm sure he's like thrilled because he needs that money, and I cool. I guess I don't know.
Right.
It's hard to have an opinion on this.
Yeah, it's the thing is like I said, it's for me it was weird because when I, started getting into Marvel and stuff, a lot of their big success was because of China. And then Endgame and all that ends, and ever since then nothing. And it's just it is kind of a weird situation to be in for the people making those movies, because even like we talked about years ago about how Netflix and these movies are going to start doing things to
appeal to Chinese audiences.
Right. And now
pulling in that much money.
Now where's that footage, in all that situation? But yeah, guys, what do you guys think about all this? Specifically about it getting released, but no Marvel movies since 2019 being released there. Will we see further movies? If this is a success, how about this, Shane? If this makes $500 million just in the Chinese box office alone, for 2023, does China go, okay, maybe we...
Yes, they do.
You see Marvel back?
I don't keep up with world politics as much, but I think in the last year, China's economy has taken a few hits.
Well, hasn't everyone's?
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Right.
So, why would you say no to free money, basically?
Yeah, I don't even
They didn't make the movie. They didn't spend a dime on it. All they have to do is just put it in the theaters.
Right.
What a rental price. I mean, you pay rentals post.
Right.
So it's just based on whatever they did. So it's free money to them.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Why would you say no to that?
Right. Yeah. So I agree. I think if this is a success, I think we see Marvel movies and everything come back. I think there's just a lot. We're still in that post-pandemic thing too, and everything's still kind of
still working things out.
Yeah, for sure. But guys, let us know down in the comment section below your guys' thoughts on all this. I still wonder all the time if it's not too late for Avatar 2, if we still care. I wonder even more if Chinese people care, like even more. But we'll see. But definitely let us know how much you care down in the comment section below. With that down, we are going to move on to our fourth and final main topic today. And our fourth and final main topic today is this. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is here. It is upon us. It dropped last night on Disney Plus at 2 a.m. I waited up to try to do a show or do something, but I could not do one. So I'm going to just give you my little bit of a spoiler-free review right now, and then maybe on Sunday or something we'll get Lucas and Trevor in here and we can do a open spoiler discussion where we can talk about all the stuff that I'm not going to talk about right now. So specifically, what I really want to just say is, going into this, I had very little expectations. I had the expectations of, what everyone has told me about the Star Wars holiday special, which was, it's really bad, but it's kind of in a way, and Shane, I don't know if I've even asked you this, but would you agree that Star Wars holiday special, as bad as it is kind of like a cult classic in our...
Sadly. only because there are so many hipsters and poser d-bags that want to seem cool because they used to know, because they know something about. Because when I grew up as a Star Wars fan in the 90s, unless you saw it on TV or you went to some comic book show and got a bootleg of it, it was impossible to get. Right. But now it's the internet age, and now you can impress your friends by saying, Kashyyyk is where the Wookiees are from.
Even if you knew George Lucas, you weren't seeing it.
No, yeah.
You could be his son.
I mean, get
out of here, son.
I read interviews like with Carrie Fisher saying she had to ask Lucas for a copy. Even Carrie Fisher, who was in it, couldn't even see it.
Right.
She had to go to the creator of Star Wars.
But again, it has become sort of a cult classic, right? And it's something that people often talk about. And so that's kind of a play of what it was. Like I said, quick thoughts. Like I was telling you, Shane, I read an interview with Gunn, who said he wrote it in like 5 hours. Mm-hmm. Maybe less. I mean, this is one of the most poorly written things that has ever been like spent money on this much or whatever you But it also kind of, it's fitting in a way because again, I guess you kind of expect it to be bad in a way, and it kind of feels like that's what they're going for, and I understand that. But I say often, you can't feed me shit and tell me, well, it's supposed to taste like shit, and me go, oh, well, now it's good. And so first 15 minutes, I'm just like, this is stupid. This is so stupid. But we get into the Kevin Bacon stuff, which I want to say, God, how much do we all forget how much we love Kevin Bacon? Kevin Bacon's he's exactly what they portray him as in Guardians. He's a true American hero. He's legendary. He saved a whole town by dancing.
He did.
That's what Kevin Bacon did. And it was so cool to see him be himself and get to, you could tell he was having a blast. Like, he was relaxed. He was, like I said, being himself. It really reminded me of something we talk about quite often was Neil Patrick Harris, and it really had that feel. Yes, and I loved it. I really loved all the Kevin Bacon stuff. But then we get back, to Nowhere, which the Guardians apparently purchased from the collector. Really weird. But anyway, we get back to Nowhere, and then we start to get into the feel of Christmas and the reason why they're doing this, the reason why they're abducting Kevin Bacon, the reason why the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special is existing, and the reason why the Star Wars Galaxy, our holiday special existed, was because Christmas can really make us feel this special, special way. And the only way that I could say is, again, it was very heartwarming. I couldn't use that word enough in this particular situation because there was lots of times where I was just tearing out of my eyes because at the end of the day, it made me remember that it's Christmas, guys. It's about to be Christmas again. And I think we can all agree that there is no feeling that matches that feeling. And it's so weird because we never think about it outside of us, as we always do as human beings, right? But Christmas doesn't exist on Xandar or on Planet Nowhere or anywhere else, right? Well, and maybe it does, but as far as we know Christmas and we celebrate Christmas, and it is kind of unique to us. And they delved a lot into how all these other people have no idea what Christmas is. And they've gotten this little information and tried to put together their idea of it. They think that Santa shoots missiles at your toes and stuff like that. It's so funny because, again, I've never thought about how Christmas to someone else would just be so weird. Wait, who's this fat old dude with a beard? He's coming in all your houses. Well,
that makes me think of any time you hear about other countries' Christmas traditions. Like Krampus or something. First time you hear that, Krampus, you're just like, whoa, that's what they celebrate. Holy cow.
Yep.
Classic Germany.
It comes around and smacks you with a wood.
So I'm sure it is like that, because I get that culture shock too. It's like, whoa, your Santa's totally different than my Santa.
Right. But ours is full of joy. Our whole thing with Christmas is this joy, heartwarming feeling,
family,
right? Togetherness, gift giving, receiving. There's just so much importantness to Christmas, and it's funny because me and my wife talk about all the time how we hate holidays. We hate that. First of all, pretty much every American holiday has been stolen from some other, mainly pagan holidays. But
you could say that about
everything since the beginning of time. True, I understand that. But
every Christian holiday,
but you can't. I mean, Chinese people have some traditional, Independence Day. For us, for an American, is a true holiday.
That's an American holiday.
Yes, that's
nowhere
right.
else in the world is
that's
it celebrated.
Right. That's a fact. It's a true
and Columbus Day, even though we don't do anything.
And there's holidays like that I kind of can respect in a way.
I guess,
but
it's an American holiday.
Yeah, but Thanksgiving there's so much bad around that.
Yeah, but the thing is, you could say that with any, right? To me, what Thanksgiving is about is, a lot of times we aren't grateful and thankful for the family we have, the food that we're able to live, and even though how bad your year has been, on Thanksgiving Day when you're around the family table and you're looking at people, you're just like, it wasn't too bad. It's all right.
Right. and that being said, Christmas does that times 100.
If it's on steroids.
If Thanksgiving is making you feel that way, Christmas is like cradling you. It's like, no, it's all right. Like it's trying to put you to sleep, you know. And you know, I was telling my wife the other day after watching Spirited, it inspired me. I'm like, dude, we got Christmas's house up. Like I want to try. We got all this shit. Why are we not in this mood? I feel so good now. And this movie, like I said, or this holiday special, and this isn't that long. It's 44 minutes with credits, with maybe 38-minute movie. There's a post-credit scene and stuff. So yeah, maybe a 38-minute special thing. And again, it's as bad and poorly written as it is, and as bad overall as I thought it was able to do one thing which I thought was redeeming for the whole thing, which was remind us all what Christmas is about and how it makes us all feel. And I think that is so important, especially that I'm so glad that they chose, because I kept saying, why wouldn't they make this a Christmas thing? Put this out Christmas Eve when we're all sitting. But now I know why. Because again, it really gets you
ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, and also gives you a chance to talk about it, and then when Christmas rolls around, you watch it again.
Yeah, because again, 38 minutes, and who cares? But yeah, it definitely, like I said, I was surprised how many times I cried. I will say that, and I told you this too, and any of you guys that in the chat that know me know that I think that Yondu's death in Guardians 2 is like the, you know, most what's the word? I
don't know, devastating or impacting.
Yeah,
impactful.
It's one of the only real and like consequential deaths that we know is definitive, you know, and the way it happens, and he has the Ravager funeral. I cried during that shit, and I hardly ever, you know, feel that way during Marvel movies, but then, you know, we get. I don't want to spoil anything, but we get some flashbacks of him and Yondu. It actually opens up with, you know, he's been abducted by Yondu as a kid, but he's been up there with them, living with them for some months, and he wants to celebrate Christmas. And obviously they have no idea what Christmas is. They're Ravagers from an alien planet.
So they've got to learn what Christmas is together.
And this is animated, and I love that. It's very Christmas animated.
Is everything animated in this?
Oh, okay. No, just like
the Star Wars.
Yes.
Because he's Boba Fett.
Boba Fett, that's right. Yeah. And so just the part with Yondu. So there's a couple parts, but in the beginning, right at the beginning, they hit you with this. So you see Quill as a young kid. He's like 9. He's on the floor wrapping like little gifts and putting names on them. And, you know, Yondu comes over and he's like, what the hell are you doing, kid? And, you know, it seemed, again, the writing's so bad. You're like, oh my God, who wrote this? An 8-year-old? It's so, we ain't celebrating that. And, you know, like, oh my God, I can't even deal with this. And then at the end, there's a moment that like brings all that back, you know, and ties in everything. And that moment, I think, is the moment that really made me cry, and think that because what happened was, again, without me spoiling anything, what happened was you took a guy that knew nothing about Christmas, and he realized it. He realized what we all know, and once he did, Christmas was Christmas for him, just like it is for everyone else. And I thought that was so touching, that Christmas was so powerful that even a dude that knew nothing about it could feel the power of like getting a gift or something and realize, damn, like this means something. And I can't take this away from this kid. And I thought that really, and that's how it ended. And I thought that redeemed it all. I was like, you know what? As bad as this was, we all should watch this to get ready for Christmas.
There you go.
Those are my thoughts on it. And like I said, I hope we are able to do an open spoiler discussion with Lucas and Trevor or whoever, so we could talk more about all the, you know, MCU, other stuff about it.
Easter eggs.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to quickly say something I loved about it that I knew and expected, and he is part of the Guardians now, is Cosmo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, loved it.
I don't know if I know who that is.
The dog in the spacesuit.
What? Superman's dog? Crypto, the super dog?
No, Cosmo's like the original comic book dog,
Oh, okay.
a hero. Yeah, he was like really early on in Marvel, and he's like a dog that they like had sent up to space. You know how they used to do that?
Oh yeah, the Russians did
Yes,
that. Yeah.
and somehow something comes along and gets him and gives him like the ability, like puts a thing on him where he can talk and shit, and he becomes Cosmo, this like space dog or whatever.
Okay.
And he
I
has
think I remember a Hanna-Barbera cartoon similar to that.
there you go. And he has like telekinesis. He can move,
okay.
he can move stuff, and it's the thing I love the most about it was played by a dog. Like we didn't
Wasn't CG.
Yeah, we didn't bring in some bullshit, and I mean it talked, and when it talked it didn't need to be CG because it's like a collar. Like I said, the people that found him had the technology to put this thing on him that when he thinks what he thinks,
It comes out of a voice
yeah,
box,
right. It's like
modulator,
I don't
rapidly.
want to do that. Yeah, right, for sure. But it sounds very kiddish because he's, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
It's just like when
Perfect for
we've seen
kids.
Howard the Duck in Guardians. And
Oh, yeah,
stuff
he
like
was in
that.
too.
Yeah, I love Howard the Duck. I love those little
I can't
obscure
stand
characters.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, the first one's not great, man.
Yeah.
The second one's good though. But
Yeah,
the holiday special is worth a watch. Like I said, especially if you're into Christmas filling movies like you are, like Halloween, it'd be worth it. I think. It's also very short. It's not a movie. It'd be over before you realize how bad it was, too.
It's a Hallmark movie for fanboys.
yeah, for sure. I'm glad they did it though. It does seem like they were trying to that this movie or this holiday special kind of had to happen for Guardians 3 because there seems like there's a lot of setup. Here. Like Cosmo. Now we know Cosmo's in the Guardians.
Can't stand
Then
that.
there's some other things that again I don't want to spoil, but we find out.
Remember, you got to watch other stuff to prepare for other stuff that's going to prepare you for other stuff.
Yeah,
that will,
right.
But if you watch that other thing, it'll help you understand this thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep. And but yeah, and so it seemed like there was a lot of that going on for sure. That they needed to let us know. So that way, going into Guardians 3, he doesn't have to waste 20-30 minutes kind of retelling us.
I feel bad for anyone that didn't see it then and is going into Guardians 3 going, what's going on here?
Right. They got a dog that talks now.
Right. I wish they'd explain that.
Or like Groot,
you had to watch that other thing.
Groot is now. I don't know if you've seen this evolution, but so Groot. When we first meet Groot in Guardians, you've seen him.
Yeah.
He's like an old man.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, not an old man, but he's full grown. Let's put it that way. And then he at the end of Guardians, he like wraps around everyone and he breaks, and they have to.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he dies at the end of the.
I think
Guardians.
I was happy about that.
Right. That was a sad part, actually.
No, nothing was sad.
And then,
except for my
at the
experience
post-credit
watching
scene,
that
we
movie.
see Rocket take a little like stem of him and put it in a pot. And then
I remember selling those at the comic book store. I didn't understand what it was, and we had like the dancing ones, like the flower, and it was like in a little pot.
So then he grew up and he got like the little baby Groot, and that's what's in
bet you love
Guardians
that.
2. And of course they did.
It's just like Baby Yoda.
There was
cute.
like no marketing.
Now your favorite character is cute and wears a diaper.
There was no marketed character that sold as much kids' toys as
This
Baby
is
Groot.
all your guys' fault.
And so then, in Infinity War, which you did watch with me,
I did.
we see Groot's a teenager.
And that was the worst stuff in Infinity War. If I could have a do-over, I would take out all the Gamora and Guardian stuff. That was all the worst stuff.
Well, the Rocket and Thor going off stuff was cool. I like that stuff. Them going to Nidavellir and all that.
Who
I like
cares?
that. And him using his arm to help Thor make the hammer. I like
filler.
that. Okay.
It looked good.
Yeah. But anyway, you remember Groot, what he looked like then, right?
Yeah.
He's like a teenager then.
I didn't understand that at all.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe
Well,
that's why I didn't like it.
Maybe, but
Because I didn't see the five
yeah, so
things that
before
set
we
that
seen
up.
that, he was a little like a toddler. So now he's one of those you know how they get all skinny and weird looking kids as they're growing up. That's the version we've seen in Infinity War. And then now the version he is kind of like like a jock in college. Like he's I'm Groot, and he's buff.
We get another Hulk character. It's Groot time.
Groot's way more intelligent than Hulk.
Okay.
Like Groot
But now he's this jock guy, right? And he's like,
yeah, he's going through his phases because he's regrowing, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's how he was in Infinity War. He was like playing games, and people were like,
because
put the games down.
Everybody
He's like,
in college acts like a jock. It doesn't matter if you go to a Japanese college person or an Argentine.
Well, every college
they all talk like American college kids.
They all have jocks, that's
so
for sure.
Groove's this American-centric college character.
He is, right?
He's from America?
We created Groot, right?
No, I don't know. Did we?
Americans?
I thought he was a space character. I thought he was from the space area.
I mean, but we made Groot. Planet. Americans made Groot the character.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh
so, I mean, he is American, right? I mean...
You see how lazy this writing is? You can see that, right?
Shane, I'm telling you right now, give me Friday Night Lights... Groot plays quarterback.
I would watch that. I would watch that. Okay, this is what I have to say about that. Clear eyes, full heart. You can't lose.
I am Groot. There's like a bunch of words coming up. Everything. I am Groot. Guys, listen. We got to go out there. You know, like he's coaching.
Oh, he's coaching right. Oh, my God.
But yeah, interesting to see the little... growth of the character, though. I have not a lot knowledge of the comic book character Groot.
Yeah, who cares? I don't either.
Yeah, right. So I didn't know how it works or how he works, but it's really interesting to see that there is an evolution to it.
He's like the Chewbacca of the series, right? Because like Guardians was meant to be a Star Wars ripoff.
That's right. He is Chewbacca. That's a fact.
Because Cosmic Comics were tanking so bad that Marvel actually got rid of Jack Kirby, the master of Cosmic. And DC was like, all right, you can do your new gods here because Marvel didn't want to.
Yeah, that was one of those examples of like when Disney got rid of James Gunn and DC was like
picked it up. Yeah,
what a bunch of idiots.
Then it didn't do well because it's Cosmic. No kids care about Cosmic, and then Star Wars happens, and then
now we all care about Cosmic.
Now we all care about Cosmic. So Guardians came out of that. So yeah, I always thought Groot was the Chewie character
because like Chewie can only go whatever. Exactly. This dude can only say I'm Groot. Yeah,
can they all understand Groot, or is it just one person?
If you remember in Infinity War, there's a scene where Groot says, I am Groot to Thor, and Thor responds to him, and they go, wait.
Oh, you can understand him?
You understand? He goes, yeah, it was an elective on Asgard. Right?
Because I guess they have college
like Spanish
in Asgard, because everything goes back to this country, to this culture.
Made by Americans.
Oh, my God.
You can't keep life out of art, Shane.
This is why I love Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, because it's not like Harry Potter where there's classes and sports and stuff. We need classes. World.
We need the wizarding hat.
No, we don't.
We need that hat to tell us where we belong,
feel like
Shane.
I'm in a completely different world that I've never seen before.
Listen, we all need a hat to tell us where we belong. The fact of the matter is we'd all be better off if a hat would just tell us.
Can you bribe the hat? Can you like slip them a 20 or a $100?
I don't think so.
Hey, I want to be in Slivery.
You could probably
whatever it is,
put a curse on him or something and make him say something else. Like you put him on. He's like, Los Angeles Lakers. Woo!
Number one, baby.
See you soon, LeBron. I wish it worked that way. But anyways, So again, I honestly, overall, I thought it had a lot of redeeming qualities. That's what I would say about it. It really was very poorly written, for sure. I mean,
but it was supposed to be.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It even seemed like there was a lot of probably, what do we call that when we just make shit up? Not ad lib, but
ad lib, improv.
Improv. Yeah, it seemed like there was probably a lot of improv going on.
Probably a lot of reference humor too.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, ton. I mean, there's a part where after Kevin Bacon, because Kevin Bacon's like, get me the fuck out of here. I've been abducted. And at some point, he realizes why he's there because this kid and the Christmas, and he decides to stay and, sing and do these things to make Christmas good for Quill. And at some point, he's leaving, and it cuts to... what's the girl's name that's blue? Nebula. It cuts to Nebula, and Kevin Bacon's like, okay, guys, I'll see you guys for Easter. And Kevin Bacon walks away, and it cuts to Nebula, and she goes, I guess all actors aren't pieces of shit. Yeah, just something like that.
How
you know?
does she know who Kevin Bacon is?
Because Quill has always told them. See, their idea of Kevin, you will enjoy this part because they abduct him because they think Kevin Bacon is an Avenger.
Well, how would she know that all celebrities are pieces of shit? Is that what?
That's what Quill told him.
Is that all celebrities?
Yes, that's what he's told him. Is that everyone except Kevin Bacon and Kevin Bacon.
This is why people love Guardians so much, is because they love reference humor.
Yes,
so
for sure.
much.
Yeah, for sure.
The laziest of all humor.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, but it sells so.
Yes, it does.
It's the thing we talk about, like with YouTube with the hate stuff. It's the dark side. It's the easy, quick way to just let's reference shit people love. Everyone loves that.
I don't have to write the joke if I just reference the joke.
Right, it writes itself.
I just need to remind you of that joke.
That joke. Right. Just, I mean,
remember
the
that
best
time you
things.
laughed?
The best things that do it is like Family Guy, right? If you think of one of the most
I don't know if
iconic.
the best they do it, but they definitely do it.
I'll give you an example.
Most.
One of the most iconic.
No, I'm not saying that they don't. They definitely do it the most.
Yes, but some of the best times ever. For example, remember in YouTube the peanut butter jelly time? You remember that video?
Sorta.
Okay,
God, it's been a while.
But if most people don't remember it from Family Guy because when they redid it, they do it with Brian in a banana suit.
Okay.
I mean, it's just hilarious. But that's a perfect example of it. He sang the same song. We knew the joke.
So I can't wait in Guardians holiday special in 10 years. Whenever your daughter's older now, she's 10 or whatever, 12, and she's just like, I don't get that joke. I don't get that joke.
Right.
Why is that?
Who's
funny?
Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, it's just like you got to explain everything because everything's a reference. Yeah. But it sounds like it does keep the holiday spirit, which is what it's about.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. Yeah,
and like I said, will click with anybody.
For sure. Like I said,
including a Grinch like me.
If you're into stuff like that, you definitely go check it out. It was fun for just that, for sure. But guys, have you seen it? Have you had a chance to check it out? Definitely let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. All right, with that down, I think we're going to move into any chat questions or.
Well, let me take a look real quick. I do want to say that just gave me a great idea for an animated special. I'm going to be the Marvel Grinch, and I'll be the Grinch, and I'm sneaking down people's houses to steal their Marvel movies because I'm like, people shouldn't enjoy these movies, and I replace them like with David Lynch, and they'll like what I like. I think most of it was just a lot of chat. So let's just talk about some of this. So Jesse Bailey talks about he loves watching holiday baking shows during the holidays. What do you think about that?
Man, here's what I think about that. Curse Shanna. Curse her and everything that you guys have ever brought me cookie related. I have now decided and spent the last 2 months trying to make homemade cookies and have yet to come out with a batch even half as good as Shanna's. So Shanna, if you're listening, I hope you're not.
There's two things you got to do, but they take time. But you got to do them now, and in like 3 to 6 months, the payoff is good. She does vanilla sugar, and all that is she puts a vanilla bean in a bag of sugar, mixes it up, keeps that bag of sugar only for her cookies.
Okay.
So now the sugar has that vanilla taste. And she makes her own vanilla extract, which is with that vanilla bean with alcohol. So she puts in the vanilla bean in like whiskey or bourbon, vodka, and she lets that sit for like 6 months, and it turns into extract, her own homemade. So it's those two things which are really old school, time consuming.
Right.
You can't get them except for at grandma's because grandma has her own homemade extract.
Right,
she's the
no
only
doubt.
But
yeah, so
that's how it's done.
That being said, I've actually been feeling that way a lot more, especially during the holidays, right? Because it's cold, so running the oven kind of gives you some more heat, and where in the summer you try to run the oven as least as possible. And I'm a big fan of baked stuff. Like I love cinnamon rolls, cakes, cookies. I mean, all of that shit. I feel like I could bake something new every week. So, also, I'm 30 years old, and I had never made a batch of homemade cookies in my entire life. So, I feel like it was something I needed to do. So, maybe one day I want to make homemade cookies with my daughter, and I, need to know how to do it right. Yeah,
and now it's a family thing rather than
for sure.
That's really cool.
And I see what you mean by that, like wanting to get, and plus, like I said, even food that's cooked, and like I would say one of my favorite foods that I eat like a lot, but it's only in this winter period, is chili.
Mm-hmm.
I love chili,
it's
dude.
Tough to eat a
like it's
hot
so
bowl
hard,
of chili
right?
in the summer,
and it's right, but it's in the winter. It's so hearty and filling and hot, and it's so easy to make, and I love chili. And then for us, what we'll do is, the next day we'll have Frito chili pie, and then chili dogs and chili. Just chili. So love bacon, and I can totally see it. Plus, I love those like Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg
specials.
Where Snoop's like adding edible oil while she ain't look. Nothing, Martha, nothing.
Well, honestly, I got to say that every woman that I know of that watches those shows that's Martha Stewart's age, secretly or in the open, all wish that Snoop Dogg was putting edibles in their baking too, because they all want to be hot.
Yeah,
they're all
for
just
sure.
like, man, I wish.
And whatever Snoop Dogg's got.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're just like,
whatever he's putting in that batter is nothing like we've ever had. So, but yeah, what else do we got?
Shannon popped in right then when you were saying cursing her about getting your hook.
She's cursed. So
no other questions, but Jesse did say that that they're just not producing many must-see movies for him, and they just need to be more picky. On
so are we talking about Marvel?
No, they're talking about when Amazon, why people aren't going to see the theaters going out. He's just saying that the product isn't there anymore. It's just nothing that's enticing them to go out to see anything.
Here's what I want to say is that is not true. That and a fact of it is everything, everywhere, all at once, right? You didn't go out and see that movie. That's on you. A. B, you didn't go out and see that movie not because it wasn't good and you wouldn't want to see it. Trust me, it's good and you would want to see it. You didn't go out and see it because you didn't know about it. Mm-hmm. It's the marketing for these little movies is the reason why we don't know they exist and that you don't go out and see it. Because when you're spending $300 million, the same price as the movie you made for Avengers, dude, you can't watch football, buy a Dr. Pepper. I mean, you literally buy a can of Dr. Pepper and it's like, Avengers Endgame releasing in a month. I mean, literally, it's everywhere.
I also think too, it's expensive. I mean, he's got a family, so he's spending $30-$40 on tickets, popcorn. I mean, it's an $80 night now to go out to a movie, or he waits a year and then he can stream it for free. Or a subscription he has. I really think theaters will never come back thanks to streaming, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love watching movies at home, and now, and also, theaters were barely able to, battle VHS, television, all these things, and you're talking about a CRT TV with 480 picture, and the theaters are losing to that back then. And so now, how do you compete with high
straight
definition
to home video stuff?
80,
never did good.
Sure, no, but my point is, but now we got HD 8-inch
4K,
TVs,
8K,
wireless sound systems.
Right.
I mean, we can have the movie theater quality experience at home now. Before, we couldn't, and people were still choosing to stay at home instead of go to the theaters. And that was back when they had a 30-inch CRT.
Right.
And they're just like, yeah, I'll just watch it on this. I don't see how you can combat at-home streaming with how well technology is.
Right. And Jesse said, not true. I wanted to go to the movies, and there wasn't one thing that seemed good to me. Okay, well, the thing is that, again, I would argue that that's all about marketing. Marketing is meant to make you want to go see a movie. So if you watched 50 trailers this year, and not one of them made you want to go see the movie, that's not good. We see it all the time that either they're not marketed at all or they're marketed completely wrong. Like you think you're going to get, an action movie or something like that, and you end up going into a love story or something completely different. We see movies that are marketed bad all the time, but more and more we're seeing movies that just aren't marketed enough. But like I said, I mean, if you seen the trailers for Everything Everywhere All at Once and didn't want to see that movie, I'm not sure what you want to see then, honestly. I'm not sure what kind of movie you're expecting to see. So, because that was the best movie I've seen this year, and honestly, movies don't get better than that, especially for the price that it was made and how successful it was. I mean, that's what you want. It's the full package. So, I don't know. I think that people just aren't going out to see the movies.
You also just mentioned one film. Back when I was growing up, we'd go to the theater 2, 3, 4 times a month. You know, and there was a reason to go see, you know, at least once a month, right? And you know, you name one movie that came out this year that you're like, that's the must see. You know, so I can kind of see Jesse's. He might have missed one because, like you said, it wasn't marketed well.
Well, I just use it because it's a great example of one that is it's the best movie of the year, and a lot of people didn't even really know about it or hear about it. Or I mean, I didn't know until it had been out. Word of mouth is what made me watch it. I mean, it had been out for a month and a half by the time I went out and seen it. So, and that's a problem. That's an issue when you could have the Oscar-winning Best Picture movie of the year, and I'm not going to even know what it is until it's been out for 2 months. That's a problem. And that can make a problem for someone, you know, like Jesse, if he hasn't seen the trailer or something, then how? Also, you know, sometimes you just got to go to movies, you know, like we do it all the time. We'll see a trailer and we're like, I don't know. And then, like I said, we'll watch it and be like, wow, that wasn't that at all. Or the opposite. We'll see a trailer like Thor, Love and Thunder. I'm like, this is the greatest trailer ever. And then I watch it and be like, whoa, I'm glad that trailer was so good.
Well, you know, you said it right there. Film is just these days so hit and miss and all over the place. You know, why am I going to go gamble $20 away, you know, each movie that might be hit or miss when I'm spending $20 a month on all my streaming services, and I'll just wait till it comes in, and then if I don't like it, I can stop it.
It's worse than that. Like I said on Twitter yesterday, is that you know, we're at a point now where streaming is cable, right? If you want them all, you're paying $85, $100 a month.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got so many. There's HBO, there's Apple, there's Amazon, there's Netflix, there's Hulu, and if you got them all, you're paying a cable bill, basically. Yeah. So
yeah, and I saw this coming, you know, a mile away, and you know, more and more, it's going to get worse now than ever because more and more of these smaller companies. I just saw that Boomerang. I remember, you know, it was on HBO Max, all those Boomerang shows like Hanna-Barbera, and I looked for them like this was like a couple months ago, and none of them were on there. I'm like, what's going on here?
Oh, yeah, they got rid of a bunch of their kids stuff. I see
because they have a Boomerang app for $6.99 a month. Who's going to get that? Boomerang. It's like, seriously, the Hanna-Barbera stuff?
I didn't know that.
And Tom and
that's
Jerry.
Bad. You know, to give you an example of why that is so bad is Nickelodeon doesn't have that.
They will soon.
Nickelodeon doesn't have a streaming app.
I bet they will. They'll probably move over.
They make so much money licensing that stuff out.
Yeah, you're right.
So much. And just
everywhere
makes no sense.
A little bit.
Right, exactly. They have so much content to just splurt out all the time.
So I guess it just depends on, you know.
Right, yeah, for sure. But Boomerang, that's even less than Nickelodeon. Like, how?
Who's going to subscribe to that?
I would rather subscribe to like an Adult Swim.
Yeah, and you can get that for free on HBO Max. It's part of that. So.
For sure. But yeah, looks like that's it for the comments and question. Guys, thanks for joining us today in the chat. As always, it's the funnest part is interacting with you guys, the fans and the audience. We appreciate all your questions and comments. Yeah, and guys, don't forget also, like I said in the beginning of the show, we're giving away that Xbox Series S, so make sure you go check out the video for that. And yeah, we will try to get back around here Saturday, Sunday, hopefully, to do a Guardians of the Galaxy Open spoiler discussion, so you could get my thoughts and Lucas and Trevor's thoughts on all the stuff that I couldn't talk about here today. I do want to quickly point out also that during Black Friday, I was able to acquire Captain America from Endgame. He's right here, just chilling. Shane's not a big fan of his.
No, he looks deformed. He looks like his head went on, like they were like, oh, we got all these extra Iron Man bodies. Let's put a Captain America head.
Paint it white. Yeah. And then I also over here, right there, is Lex Luthor.
That thing's badass.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Like that.
So yeah, and now that I'm seeing it all up here, I'm thinking maybe I just get like a whole spread that goes all the way across.
You might have to.
So yeah. But yeah, guys, so make sure you're out there doing your Black Friday shopping, having fun, and using this holiday break to, you know, get a break and relax and get ready to get into this Christmas season and this Christmas spirit that hopefully we'll all be in. So, yeah, guys, again, thanks for joining us today. We will see you guys soon, and we appreciate, like I said, all you guys being here. We will see you guys next time.